Coming up on SCTV3, see which student has recently founded a new startup company.
Plus, see what students are doing for Thanksgiving break.
All that and more tonight on SCTV3.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of SCTV3. I'm Connor Rourke.
And I'm Caleb Knowles. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight here on Alden Street, highlighting Springfield College senior computer science and finance major Tofail Hussein and his startup company, Sigma Point Pi.
The startup takes a quantitative approach to finance, using artificial intelligence to help develop algorithms that assist users with making informed decisions about the market. SCTV3's Nick Pantages has more.
Many people say that the future of several industries lies in the hands of artificial intelligence, or AI. Springfield College senior Tofail Hussein is trying to get ahead of that curve with his AI-driven fintech startup company, Sigma Point Pi.
So we are going to integrate full of artificial intelligence and machine learning with 450 plus micro and macro factors with the complex algorithms and mathematical equations and models.
Hussein is a dual computer science and finance major, as well as a member of the honors program. The concept of starting Sigma Point Pi derived directly from Hussein's coursework and is a combination of his skill in computer science and his passion for finance.
I love mathematics, so I invented some equations, like new equations and models from my mathematical perspective, and the coding sections from my computer science majors. And the finance, my high school is full of science, like no finance background or like accounting background. But here I learned from my professors and they encouraged me to do like the finance section. So I literally learned about those things.
Sigma Point Pi's idea is to use AI and machine learning to help investors make informed decisions about the stocks they choose to invest in without the element of human emotion.
But here, the machine learning or artificial intelligence automatically select those things to get the higher returns every time.
Laura Katz, the chair of the business management department, has worked very closely with Hussein and sees how hard he has pursued this project.
I know he has really high aspirations for what he wants to do after he leaves Springfield College. And I think that some of the steps that he's taking here are going to prepare him well for, kind of graduate school and whatever comes next for him.
Hussein heavily utilizes AI in this project, which will continue to grow in popularity as the technology evolves. Both Katz and Hussein agree that especially in the financial realm, the best thing to do is adapt with the times.
AI is coming so quickly. It's hitting us all sort of fast and furious. And, to be honest, we're really trying to keep up ourselves. We're wholly supportive of artificial intelligence as it relates to adding value to work that's already been done by the students here.
We need to go through, go with the current world. So I think it's best to capture and get this artificial intelligence in our day-to-day life.
For more, visit sigmapointpi.com. For SCTV3, I'm Nick Pantages.
Earlier today, a presentation and Q&A session with filmmaker Iram Parveen Bilal was held in Judd Gymnasium. Students filed into the Springfield College Museum for a presentation titled Social Change Through Cinema. The filmmaker explored how society can raise its voices and reach goals in a world of shifting censorship, regulation, and financing of media. Also included was backstory of why she became a filmmaker and a short trailer of her film, Wakri. Parveen Bilal wrote, directed, and co-produced the movie. At the end of the event, Parveen Bilal gave the floor to students and staff to ask questions. Today's event was a follow-up to the college's screening of the film Wakri back on October 30th.
Earlier today in the Union, the Center for Services and Leadership and the John M. Wilson Center hosted a rice and beans food drive. The event was held to prepare bagged meals for people in need within the Springfield community. Participants moved through an assembly line style station, filling bags with ingredients such as rice, beans, and seasoning. All completed bags will be donated to a nonprofit organization called Rachel's Table, which will distribute the meals to individuals and families facing hunger. Each bag provides enough food for a family of 4 in need. Mackenzie Bates, the graduate assistant for the college's Pride Pantry and Basic Needs Coordinator, spoke about the importance of events like this and the significant impact they have on the community.
I love to do is to give back to the community in a way that's like related to food, because there is so much food insecurity, especially in Springfield. And even though like SNAP benefits have been given back, they're still like being refunded slowly, and families are still seeing the impacts of that. And especially around the holiday season, there are so many things like buying toys and buying things for their family to make the holiday season so valuable, and it limits people's ability to buy food for their family to survive the whole week.
Many people during the holiday season struggle with putting food on the table. During the season of giving, it's important to help those in need through events like this.
Yesterday, Springfield College held its day of recruitment. The day was an opportunity for current students and alumni to recommend and support students who they feel are good fits for Springfield College. Students were encouraged to share their passion for Springfield College with potential students, both undergraduate and graduate, and invite them to explore what the college has to offer. There were 4 ways for current students and alumni to recommend prospective students. Students could call the alumni and family relations staff, call the undergraduate admissions staff, stop by the union in person, or fill out an online form with contact information. Vice President of Enrollment Management and Marketing, John Scully, shared the best ways to promote Springfield to friends and family.
Yeah, I think it's talk to anybody and everybody. You go home for Thanksgiving, you meet up with aunt, uncle, cousin, whoever it might be. Let them know about your experience and be honest. There is no better person to talk about Springfield than somebody who's currently experiencing what makes this place so special. Myself and my staff, that's what we do, that's our job. But people know it's our job. When it's genuine, it's coming from a current student, somebody who's choosing to spend their time here, it goes such a long way. So really just have those conversations with people who might not realize what Springfield is.
Awesome. I think that's really all I have.
For every student recommended, students were entered to win a $25, $50, or $75 gift card.
As Thanksgiving break nears, there are some logistics to keep in mind with regards to dorms closing. As Springfield College students go home for Thanksgiving recess, the college's dorms will be taking a break too. All residence halls will close this coming Tuesday, November 25th at 5 in the evening, and students will lose ID access to the dorms at this time. The halls will reopen on Sunday, November 30th at noon. If students need to stay on campus for any part of the break, they must fill out the break stay application by this Monday, November 24th at 4 in the afternoon. The fee to remain on campus over break is $200. The break stay application and further information on this process can be found in an email sent to students on November 12th from Housing and Residence Life.
The Pride Pantry will be operating on a special break schedule before resident halls close for the Thanksgiving recess. The Pride Pantry will be open normal hours on Monday evening from 4 to 6, and while the pantry is typically closed on Tuesdays, staff will open the doors for in-person shopping from 9 to 11 in the morning. Online ordering is also available, but requests must be submitted by Monday night and picked up during Tuesday's special hours. Once the college closes for break, the pantry will close as well, leaving students who remain on campus in need of alternative food options.
I reached out around campus, and for students staying here through the break, there are still resources. Danielle Griffin from Swipe Out Hunger and the Food Recovery Network says students can reach out for help, connecting with local food sites, community programs, and emergency meal options. While the pantry won't be open, support is still there. Students just have to take the first step. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Dante Iafredi.
For more information or to get connected with additional food resources, students can contact Danielle Griffin or visit the Pride Pantry website at springfield.edu.
Over the weekend, Best of Broadway held its annual Fall Review in the Fuller Arts Center. The Fall Review consists of 22 different numbers from many different Broadway musicals, including one from the club's upcoming play, The Little Mermaid. SCTV3's Emma Bynes and River Mitchell went to the show and spoke with the directors to see how the show came together.
The air on Springfield's campus might have been cold last weekend, but Springfield College's Best of Broadway Club brought the heat inside the Fuller Arts Center, putting together their annual Fall Review. Unlike the spring show, which is a performance of a selected play, the Fall Review consists of 22 songs from many different Broadway musicals.
Every day we have rehearsals, dance rehearsals, music rehearsals, and it's just we spend a lot of time together because not only is it learning the dances, but it's actually creating a sense of chemistry within the cast. I'm a senior now, so I've seen people who started out with me grow into incredible, like not that they weren't before, but they have grown so much in this club as people, as performers, and then seeing kids that are below me and even the freshmen, seeing them grow throughout the semester has been incredible.
The club held 3 shows last weekend, one of them being last Friday, the other 2 at 2 and 7 on Saturday. Some of the numbers included Under the Sea from Little Mermaid, One Short Day from Wicked, and other numbers from plays such as The Greatest Showman and High School Musical. They even included a college number, which they do for seniors each year, and When I Grow Up, which was for underclassmen with seniors coming in towards the end. The process of seeing everything come together has been months in the making, but was extremely rewarding to see it come together with the community of people they've grown to love.
I could not imagine my college experience without Best of Broadway. It's become like my family. Like I said, seeing everyone grow has been so rewarding, and it's been my home.
I've been performing my whole life, so these are the perfect group of people to become friends with because of the shared interests. And it means a lot to me as a sense of community, and that's I think why I wanted to do it as a sophomore, because I wanted to give back to the people who had me and really be there for the freshmen who came just like I did. And I feel like we really did that this year. There's a really strong sense of community in our club.
Best of Broadway is doing Little Mermaid as their spring musical in March, as the dates for that are March 5th and 6th at 7 p.m. and March 7th at 2 and 7 p.m. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm River Mitchell.
Most students are going home for Thanksgiving break, but what will the weather look like for students staying on campus? SCTV3's Shane Barron is in Studio B with our local and national weather update. Shane, take it away.
Thanks, Connor. This week, the weather is looking a little bit better than last. Despite the freezing nights to come for the entire week, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday will be in the mid to high 40s, so keep that coat on, but you might not need to bring out the hat and gloves for this partly sunny weekend. Monday might be your last chance to tan in 2025, with the sun out and the 50-degree forecast. Tuesday will be a similar temp, but the opposite outcome, as showers are expected throughout the day. Despite the cloudy skies, Wednesday looks to be the warmest day of the week, as the high will reach 57 degrees. For you turkey trotters, it might be a good idea to trot back into the house and get right into the food, as rain is forecasted Thanksgiving morning. Now, on to the national weather. Last week, the Coachella Valley in California experienced heavy rainfall, causing road closures, flooding, and mudslides. This prompted safety warnings and emergency officials and law enforcement. In Palm Springs, roads like Indian Canyon and Generic Trail are often the first to close when water rises from the storms. In Cathedral City, heavy rain led to mudslides in the area, stranding several cars in the thick mud, one of which required a rescue team to help remove someone from their vehicle. For some in the area, road closures weren't the only problem from the storm. Neighborhoods and driveways also filled with water, leaving many families unable to leave their homes. Thankfully, the town's public works got the flooding under control within hours with nonstop pumping and clearing, even helping clean up residents' driveways, leftover bark and debris. Now back to you, Caleb, in the studio.
Stay tuned after the break for our weekly Q&A with a former coach of the Springfield men's and women's basketball teams.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Michael Thulin is an assistant professor of sports management, but once taught physical education and coached both basketball teams. SCTV3's Liam Riley sat down with Thulin to learn more about those experiences, as well as why he gives a Pop-Tart to his guest speakers.
I retired unsuccessfully in 2017. I had 3 joint replacements and thought I was done. Retired, moved, went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and got bored. So came back up here. I went to Elms College as the athletic director for 4 years. Again, attempted to step down in 2023, and that was in August. My last week at Elms, I was preparing for my son's wedding, which was at the end of August, and Springfield College came calling and asked if I would consider jumping on board in sport management. They were down a few faculty members, and here I am, and enjoying every minute of it. I'd never coached women until I coached in 1983. The head coach at the time left to go to Bowdoin College, where he was not only the women's basketball coach, but also baseball. Baseball was a real passion for him. This happened in August, and they were looking to quickly fill the position, and I was fortunate enough to be given the job and spent 3 years doing that, and then became the assistant men's basketball coach for 5 years, because at that time it was a full-time position, all while I was an assistant professor, then associate professor of physical education as well. That goes back to my coaching days at Springfield College. It was a strong tradition within the men's basketball program. I brought it to them, and so we stay connected, even in, well, because I'm a Facebook guy, but also our text groups. It's a constant theme, and it's just something that reemerged, and I felt like it's a nice honorarium for those that come in to feel the power of Pop-Tarts, and I'm also looking for an NIL deal with Pop-Tarts if they so choose. My advice to them is to be their own authentic selves. In an era of AI, everybody's going to look good on paper. Everybody's resume is going to look perfect. The bottom line is that when you have the opportunity to connect with people, to be authentic, to be full of confidence in yourself, and follow your passion. Whatever that passion is, wherever it leads you, follow your passion, and it will never steer you wrong.
In the spring, Thulin will be teaching the Communication and Sports Management class and a Sports Governance and Strategy class.
On Monday, officials in Denver seized a record amount of fentanyl pills from a storage unit. SCTV3's Nina Hutchins has more.
Authorities in Colorado have announced what they say is the state's largest ever fentanyl seizure after someone who purchased a storage unit in an auction in Highlands Ranch on November 11th discovered it to be filled with illegal drugs and immediately contacted the police. When investigators arrived and searched the unit, they uncovered a stash of 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills, along with 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder and 2.5 pounds of methamphetamine. Officials say the amount of powder alone could have produced millions of additional pills, highlighting the significance of the discovery. The Drug Enforcement Administration says that the storage unit was linked with the Sinaloa cartel, which the U.S. recently designated as a foreign terrorist organization. The individual connected to the unit has been in custody since April on an unrelated case and has since been identified as the main suspect. Officials called the discovery of evidence a, quote, sophisticated operation, and that the seizure likely saved thousands of lives. They also noted that fentanyl remains an ongoing issue nationwide, and it is the leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45. The suspect's identity remains undisclosed as multiple state and federal investigations are still ongoing. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Nina Hutchins.
Authorities also did not release the name of the citizen who won the unit.
An arrest has been made in a shooting at a community college that was once featured in a Netflix documentary. Laney College's athletic director and former football coach died last Thursday morning from wounds he sustained in the attack. John Beam was a key figure in the Netflix documentary series titled Last Chance U. Police say shots rang out at the Laney College Sports Complex in Oakland, California just before noon last Thursday. When officers arrived, they found the school's athletic director and former football coach John Beam shot. The man accused of killing the beloved Oakland coach, 27-year-old Cedric Irving, is now facing murder charges. If convicted on all counts, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. Newly released court documents are revealing more details about the case against Irving, who investigators say shot and killed Beam on campus. Beam gained national recognition in 2020 when Laney College's junior football program was featured on the Netflix docuseries Last Chance U.
Why are you talking when he's talking? Sit down!
Known for his tough love coaching style, Beam was 66 years old and had spent more than 4 decades coaching athletes across the East Bay before retiring last year. Some of his former players rushed to the hospital after learning what happened, including Benji Ross.
He drove us hard. He may have made you cry a couple of times, but at the same time, he really loved you and he really cared. But I definitely had to come because that's like family.
In response to recent gun violence, District Attorney Ursula Jones-Dixon announced a policy change. The shooting at Laney College came just one day after a Skyline High School student was shot and injured. Jones-Dixon said her office will reinstate mandatory minimum sentences for gun cases in the county, 90 days for misdemeanor gun charges, and 16 months for felonies, with additional time for ghost guns. The policy was last in place under former DA Nancy O'Malley.
Until we start making ourselves accountable to our neighbors, to our brothers and sisters, we can't expect anything different. If we keep doing the same thing, we get the same result. And so this is my opportunity to try something that we've tried before, to see if we can put a dent in some of this violent crime.
Irving now faces 50 years to life in prison if convicted. Police say that the incident was not related to a robbery and was the outcome of a planned attack.
The House of Representatives and the Senate have both voted on releasing the Epstein files. All but one member of the House voted against the bill, and the Senate passed it unanimously. SCTV3's River Mitchell has more.
All but one member of the House of Representatives and everyone in the Senate unanimously agreed to release the files related to child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Many members of Congress from both sides of the aisle have been outspoken about their desire to have the files released. As Attorney General Pam Bondi ensured, there will be maximum transparency throughout the process. This also comes after President Donald Trump urged House Republicans to vote in favor of the bill, after months of telling them not to vote for it.
You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard.
Bondi now has just 30 days to make all unclassified records and investigative material public, but Bondi also has the ability to withhold certain documents that could impact an ongoing investigation, a loophole that's worried some members of Congress.
I do have that concern. Will the public really get to see the complete Epstein files redacted only to protect the victims, or will they be redacted to protect others, including the president?
The Attorney General does have the power to determine that certain documents, if released, would jeopardize an ongoing investigation, and she can withhold those documents, at least for now, on that basis.
And these might be documents that everyone wants to see?
They absolutely could. And in fact, arguably, they could be some of the most important documents in the file.
Now, the bill will be transported to President Trump's desk, as he will most likely sign the bill into law. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm River Mitchell.
President Trump has now officially signed the bill into law.
After the break, SCTV3's Sam McGilpin has you covered with another edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra.
There is a road laid out for me. First night here, but Amy seems cool. Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
Hello and welcome to tonight's edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra, highlighting Springfield College athletics. I'm Sam McGilpin and thank you for joining us. The Pride men's basketball team took down Amherst with a final score of 70-64 on Tuesday night. The game started off 9-4 early on in the first half after a hot offensive explosion from the Pride. In the middle of the first half, the offense turned it up with 8 minutes left. At halftime, the Pride led Amherst by 6, with Cedric Rodriguez being the leading scorer with 11 points. With 13 minutes left in the second half, Springfield's lead grew wider with a 7-point lead, and Hunter Madsen was coming up huge in the paint. Springfield was able to outlast the Mammoths with a final score of 70-64. SCTV3's Callan McConder was at the game and has more.
The Springfield men's basketball team took down Amherst with a final score of 70-64 on Tuesday night. Hunter Madsen led the way with 17 points and 9 rebounds, while Cedric Rodriguez had 13 and 4 rebounds of his own. The Springfield men's basketball team travels to Maryland to take on Washington on Saturday afternoon. Reporting for SCTV3, I am Colin McKinley.
Springfield heads down to Maryland to take on Washington on Saturday. After finishing 23-7 and making it to the semifinal round of the NEWMAC tournament, the women's volleyball team earned a bid into the NCAA Division III National Championship Tournament. On Monday, the team sat in Blake Arena waiting in anticipation to see where it landed in the tournament. The Pride didn't have to wait long, however, as they were announced as one of the first teams in. Springfield traveled to Tufts to take on Emory, the number 18th ranked team in the nation. In celebration of making the tournament, the Office of Athletics hosted a send-off for the women's volleyball team as well as the football team. Senior captain Emily Keaveney talked about the thrill of being in the postseason.
Just going in with a fearless mentality, kind of nothing to lose, and just playing for the person next to you, doing your whole job, everything we work toward, trust your training, and just go in with confidence and have fun.
The Pride lost to Emory 3-0, ending its season. We now take a look at our upcoming schedule for the athletes on Alden Street. All games take place this weekend and specifically on Saturday. Starting with wrestling, bright and early at 10 a.m., taking place in the Doug Parker Invitational in Blake Arena. Football hosts the first round of the 2025 NCAA Division III National Championship Tournament and will face a familiar opponent in Cortland, a team they beat last year to advance in the tournament. That game starts at noon. Women's basketball follows right after that at 4:30, hosting Hartford for an early season battle. Now, moving on to the teams traveling for the upcoming week. Men's basketball begins a 2-game road stretch as they face Washington College on Saturday and back on the road for Bowdoin on Tuesday. And finally, women's basketball will head to Williams next Tuesday. That game starts at 5 in the evening. If you would like more information about Springfield athletics, head to springfieldcollegepride.com. Another show, another week of Sam's starting lineup. I compiled the best performances on Alden Street from this past week. Take a look.
This week's starting lineup has a plethora of star-studded talent on display. So without further ado, let's get to it. At 3 is Amanda Leary and Natalie Lucas. The two basketball players combined for 34 points and 22 rebounds in a 71-48 onslaught against Albertus Magnus. Leary and Lucas were finding easy shots all night as well as dominating on the boards. The posse are now 4-1, including a ranked win over SUNY Geneseo. At 2 is Hunter Madsen. The sophomore big man had 17 points, including 7 for 9 from the line in a massive win against Amherst, a team they lost to by almost 30 last year. Madsen was finishing with contact aggressively throughout the game and providing a true spark of energy in Blake Arena. Madsen is looking to have a breakout season after seeing solid time in his first year. At 1 is no other than Tyler Sordillo. The junior defensive lineman earned her another NEWMAC Defensive Player of the Week award with 2.5 sacks in the 23-7 win against SUNY Maritime. In fact, today, on November 20th, Sordillo was named the NEWMAC Defensive Player of the Year. An incredible season for Sordillo, as his 11.5 sacks are good for top 10 in Division III. The Pride faced Cortland in the first round, Saturday at 12 on Stagg Field, as our very own Dante Alfredi and Nick Pantages are on the call, streaming on ESPN+, with Emma Bynes doing sideline reporting. That's it from me. SCTV3, it's always Sam McGilpin.
Bodie Dunn isn't the leading rusher for the Pride football team, but he is still a key piece offensively. SCTV3's Shane Barron sat down with Dunn to discuss his success and the upcoming postseason matchup.
Hello and welcome to our SCTV3 Athlete of the Week interview. I'm Shane Barron, joined here today with Bodie Dunn. Bodie is a member of the football team and a fullback in a rushing offense that once again has taken the nation by storm. So Bodie, talk to me a little bit about the game plan and the approach that you guys take to each week and, the commitment to running the ball.
Coach C's always talked about like how we always want to stick with the triple option. He's really committed to it, and we don't really want to like do anything else. Obviously, it's tradition. We always talk about tradition, and going into every week, we always talk about how like we have nameless and faceless opponents. We don't really, obviously, we look into teams and we'll game plan, but one thing we're always going to do is we're going to stick to our game, and if like people know what we're going to run, and our main thing we say is like they have to stop it. So it's a big thing we talk about.
Well, some teams are having some trouble stopping it, definitely, as once again the backfield is being dominant. You split time with the other fullback, Stanford Davis. Can you talk to me about that little bit of a 1-2 punch that you guys have going on, and kind of how you feel your different skill sets, but also similar skill sets, gives this team an advantage?
Yeah, so Stanford, I always talk about it all the time. Stanford's probably the best team I've ever had on a football team. Obviously, like in the past, I've had like close friends and stuff like that, but Stanford's the one that's always pushed me further and always tried to make me a better player and a better person at the same time. On Saturday, Stanford will be the first one to go out there at fullback, and then I'll come in after him. But we don't really think about it that way. We kind of just think about how like we're going to push each other to the absolute max every single day in practice, and then we're going to try to make ourselves better no matter what. And then in the games, we'll always celebrate each other. And I think that's why like we're able to have success at the fullback position, because we've just worked together for 3 straight years and trying to get to this moment, and we're ready. Whatever hits us, we're going to be able to do it together.
Yeah, and often, a lot of times, especially between the two of you, you guys hit the defender before they hit you. But I want to talk about your skill set a little bit. What do you feel gives you an upper hand? You break a lot of long runs. You're averaging 6.5 yards a carry, touchdowns in back-to-back games. Talk a little bit about what you bring to the table and what makes you successful.
I'd say my size helps me a lot. I'm a little taller. I'm pretty good with my pad level. It's something that my team or my coaches have really pushed into me. Like I used to have really high pad level. They really wanted me to work on that pad level, and it's helped me be able to get to the spot a little bit faster and be able to hit, like you said, hit the linebackers before they hit me. And just being able to build that confidence at the fullback position. We don't have a lot of responsibility. We have to get to the spot and run the ball. So having that confidence is a big thing, and I think that's something that's really developed over time.
Yeah, definitely. And big matchup this week. First round of the playoffs. It's going to be a revenge game, and Cortland is going to be looking, for blood. How do you guys prepare as an offense that is averaging right around 350 yards a game, and Cortland has only given up 125 yards a game on the ground this year? So how do you feel that you can take advantage of their good run defense and pull out a win?
I'd say we're not really worried about about statistics, because statistics don't really matter with the triple option. It's more about how physical you're going to be when you come up against us. And they're a really good football team, and so are we, and it's going to be a fun matchup. And I'm really looking forward to being able to see them again, especially after last year. And they're going to give us their best, and we're going to give them our best. And we're going to prepare all week, but it's going to be fun to see how it goes on Saturday. I'm pretty confident, though.
It should be fun. I'm very excited, and obviously I know you guys are going to prepare as you usually do. Bodie, I really appreciate you coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.
That'll do it for another edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra. Stick around after the break to see what students have planned for Thanksgiving break.
Jason, let's go see your room.
Thanksgiving is in exactly a week. Many students are ready for the break in classes. I went out to ask students what their plans are for break and who they're thankful for this Thanksgiving.
I'm Connor Rourke, and I'm here right outside the campus union at Springfield College, ready to interview students to see what their plans are for Thanksgiving and who they're thankful for.
Mainly just resting, maybe going for a few hikes with my friends and stuff.
I'm going to my grandparents' house in Pittsburgh, and my whole family's gonna be there.
Go home, see some family, and see some friends.
I think this Thanksgiving I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my friends and family, just catching up.
I'm going home and seeing my parents, and I'm going to go skiing.
I'm very excited to go home to my hometown in Massachusetts and watch my high school football team play.
Well, I fly home this upcoming Saturday, back home to St. Louis, and I'll get to be there for a full week. Might be missing some classes, but I think it's all right. I'm really excited to see my family.
This upcoming Thanksgiving, I plan to go back home, enjoy time with my family, and eat some good food.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably do the same, spend time with friends too.
My favorite food is mac and cheese for Thanksgiving.
My favorite food is probably, I'm a big turkey guy. I love turkey on Thanksgiving because, you know, I don't really get it besides Thanksgiving, so definitely Thanksgiving, or turkey.
Apple pie. And why?
It's apple pie. That's the best dessert.
Definitely mac and cheese.
I'm gonna probably say ham.
I know it's a hot take, but I really like cranberry sauce.
Why is that?
I think it's unique. Not a lot of people like have that food as their favorite.
Definitely stuffing.
Why?
You can't go wrong with stuffing. It's also really hard to make poorly. So.
Definitely mashed potatoes.
Why?
My grandma makes them really good.
Dude, mashed potatoes and gravy, man. Come on.
Why is that?
Bussin'.
My dad.
Why is that?
Just because he's always been there. He drove me to hockey when I was younger and just done a lot for me.
I'd definitely say my mom.
And why is that?
I feel like she's just like my biggest role model and like who I want to be when I'm older.
Everybody. I'm thankful for everybody. My friends, family, people that I, work with, everyone.
It's gotta be my mom.
And why?
She does so much for me, providing for my family. Obviously, she birthed me, so I'm very grateful for her.
Someone I'm thankful for is my dad.
Why is that?
Well, my dad provides me everything. The reason I'm here is because of my dad, so I'm very thankful for my dad.
And if you were thankful for one person, who would that be?
My mom.
Why is that?
Because she does like everything for me and I just love her.
I'm thankful for the family that I have made here at Springfield.
I'm very thankful for my mother, so everyone should be thankful for their mother.
Once again, my friends and family. Shout out Shane Prusak. Stay thankful. That will do it for this edition of SCTV3 Weekly News. Thank you for tuning in.
Be sure to check us out. Be sure to check out SCTV3 on all social media platforms, including SCTV3's YouTube, where you can see every archive show. SCTV3 will not air next Thursday due to Thanksgiving, but we will have you covered with the news on Alden Street during our next show, Thursday, December 4th.
We hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving, and we thank you for joining us. We'll be back here in 2 weeks. Same time,
same place.